I'm being unapologetic. I'm not dumbing myself down. I'm not becoming quieter just because other people can't be loud.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
Hey y'all, it's your host Jessica Jordan, and I'm here on Access Denied, the podcast dedicated to helping you get over your fear of rejection, one episode at a time. Let's go! Hey y'all, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Access Denied. I am so freaking excited to introduce you to today's guest. Rachel Ann Thomas is on the pod today, friends, and y'all, our conversation ranges from what it takes to be an actor, what it takes to live in the big city, and what it takes to go to the University of Notre Dame. This is a can't miss episode. Stay tuned and enjoy. Rachel, welcome to Access Denied. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you? I feel like we were talking before this, and I feel like we've both had like the craziest beginning of the summer. Like I feel like the spring was kind of slow, but the second it got warm, like we jumped right into like crazy life again.
Oh my God. Okay. So yes, 100,000%. I always say, I don't know what it is about June as like, especially in the content creator world, it gets insane. Like immediately, like June 1st, prepare to be busy suddenly.
All good things, but like they all come at once. It's like nothing. It's like dry, 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 dry. And then it's like a feast. And you're like, well, I can't keep up with this. Like, it's all great stuff. Or if it's not, it's still like, well, there's some good things, some things you got to deal with. But it's always crazy in June. And June is my birthday month. And so I'm like, you know what? I can take the craziness in the birthday month in the beginning of the summer. Like, I have the energy for it now where I didn't have it in the winter. You know how it is.
Well, happy birthday. When is your birthday in June?
My birthday was June 7th.
Oh, happy belated.
Thank you.
Of course. But no, I totally agree with you. My blessing that I always say is at least the sun is out most of the time in June, because if it did this in January, the way that I would just not have the energy to handle it.
Oh my God, not at all. It's even to the point where like I have been to the lake like every day for the last 3 days just because I have the energy to like walk. Because when it's warm out, when it's sunny out, it like pulls you outside, and like I know we both grew up in the Midwest, so it's very easy to like see the sun out and be like, I have to be outside. Like you get so little days of sun that when you do see the sun out there, you're like, well, I shouldn't be sitting in here. Like I should be on a walk, or I should be with friends, or I should be getting a drink or something like that.
Oh yes, the classic Chicago. I should be drinking. The sun is out.
I should be drinking.
Means I should already be drunk. Like what's going on?
Exactly. I need to be on a boat right now. Like,
why am I not on a boat? What's going on?
We should have done this on a boat.
Wait, okay, next time.
That's actually a really good idea. That'd be so fun.
We're taking this on the road, which speaking of, you were just telling me like how busy like you are with all your travel and whatnot. Like I'm so excited for you and everything you have coming up. It's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, I have a lot of like brand collabs that I'm doing in different states, and I'm really excited to work on that end. And then I might be out of the country at the end of the summer, like TBD, but like maybe perchance, depending on if I book the jobs I've been auditioning for. So it really just depends on that kind of stuff. It's like up in the air all around, so I don't really know. But it's kind of a beauty of not knowing. You're sort of like, go with the flow, you know?
No, 100%. Like, I think there's such like a mystery about like the entertainment industry in general that keeps it so engaging. As a Sagittarius myself, like I kind of hate routine. Like if it gets too mundane, like a little bit is fine for stability, right? But like any more than that, I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind.
100%. I can't even sit down and be at a desk for more than like an hour before I'm like, I need to change what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, I can't be emailing anymore. I got to move on. Like, I'm going to make a video or something like that, you know? Like, okay, I did all my emails, now I got to like yap on the internet, you know?
I actually very recently started like a corporate job that's like truly like a 9-to-5 situation. And the way that I have to get up once an hour on the hour, I'm like, I don't care if I go to the bathroom. I don't care if I go just like look out the window for 2 minutes. Like I can't sit. I have to move.
No, I'm totally with you. Like I'm the exact same way. And I commend you. That's a whole other lifestyle. That's like the corporate America that we live in. I'm like, I think about my parents sometime, and I'm like, how has my dad been in this for X amount of time? I would have been out of it so fast. Like, I don't know how, like, and you know, I'm from a big family. Like I had 8 siblings. So I'm like, how did you, first of all, make enough money for all of us? But second of all, like, I guess it's because he loves us. Like, um, but because I'm like, how are you sitting down and doing this work for this long? And he still works at the same place. And I'm like, I think we're very lucky to be able to make money online just by like being ourselves and like, sharing our given experiences, no matter what it is, like no matter what your niche is, somebody will find you. So I feel like that is such a gift to be able to have that type of personality and that sort of work ethic to be able to do, whether it's full time or passive income, it's such a blessing either way.
It is such a blessing. And I think that's such an important mentality to hold on to because it's not anybody can be a content creator. Not everybody's going to be able to monetize it. And like it takes so much work. And I think people don't realize that when they step into it. They're just like, oh, well, I'm making videos now. Where is the money? And I'm like, well, that's not how that works.
Yeah, you have to be very dedicated to it and like be used to not seeing numbers for a while. And like somebody said this to me and I started telling other people, you have to like post like you're already famous or like you have to post like you're already a big deal. And you also have to think of yourself as a big deal. Like you have to be like I'm worth listening to, and not in a cocky way, but like if you have something to say and something you want to share and something you think is important that you have in your experience that you would love to pass on to people, then you should, because you can also see through when someone just wants to get famous. It is the most irritating thing watching someone. I'm like, your morning routine looks like every other person's morning routine, and the only reason you're sharing it is because you just want to be Alex Earl. And I'm like, I get why you want to be Alex Earl. I get it. But like, what are you saying to the world? What are you leaving the world with? If it's just products for women to buy because they feel crappy about themselves, you're not adding anything to the world.
No, I love like that perspective. Like one, talking like you're already famous, I think is so smart
Yes.
because it will keep you in so many ways from leaning into the Alex Earl isms or the like trad wife sort of vibes where all you're doing is like what's trendy and let you do what you want to do. If you're already like, well, I've made it, so it doesn't matter, you're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think
Totally
that's
agree.
the key right there to finding success online because like you said, people will find you. Like your community is out there. That's the beauty of the internet. God, that's how I got started was just
Yeah.
like looking for community and suddenly we're here. But before we get too far into this, I do want you to take a second to like introduce yourself. We've been talking around it for a minute and
Yeah, we should do that.
we should do that.
Okay, well, my name's Rachel. My official like internet name is Rachel Ann Thomas, but that's just because that wasn't taken. I'm an actor, I'm a performer, I'm a content creator, I'm an intimacy director, and a choreographer as well. So I kind of started acting I started dancing when I was very, very young, and I thought I was going to be a ballerina. And then I sort of saw my brother do Seussical at Marion High School, and I was like, I think I want to try that. And so then I quit ballet, which made my dad very sad because he was like, oh no, I really wanted you to do this. And then I was like, just kidding, I'm going to do something else in the performing arts. So I started acting when I was like 17, and then I just sort of fell in love with it. And I went to school, acted there in school and whatnot. I didn't get a BFA, which I think is important to say because I talk about this a lot on my page. You don't need one to be a professional actor. You can get a BA. You don't have to even go to school. You just have to be educated in it. And in 2020, like a lot of other people did, that's when I started like seriously posting on the internet. And I think we were all very bored and very sad. And I think at the beginning, I started posting things that I thought other people would want. And then all of a sudden I realized like, no, I want to talk about my life as a performer. So once I started doing that, and then I started making like sketches and doing day in the life videos and like things like that, that's when all of a sudden it started blowing up. And I was like, oh wait, like people resonate with this and people enjoy seeing this side of my life, and I can connect with a community that I would not have been able to before. And it sort of took out from there with like people offering me brand collaborations, and then I work with like different films on different like projects and stuff like that. And since then it's just sort of taken off, and now it's like crazy that it's my full-time job while I'm also acting. So like this would be like my full-time job that I do so that I can pursue an audition all around the States.
That is so cool. Also, I just saw you just like did a little collab with How to Train Your Dragon, like
Yes.
the live action, which is so sick.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of stuff with them actually. Like they've been reaching out because I've been yapping about it on the internet. It's like my favorite animated movie. And it pays. To yap about something on the internet totally pays. Like it just, I mean, literally pays and also pays.
Listen, goes back to finding your niche, finding the things that you care about. It's so,
Yeah.
yes, not to like preach about it, but like, I love that. I love that you were just able to like, so I like this film, and then all of a sudden
Talk about it and hope somebody else resonates with it.
Oh, I love that. And I think it's so cool too. Like your content has like stuck out to me since I started like following you back in the day or whatever, because you talk about a lifestyle that not everybody has, right? So
Yeah.
whether you're a part of like the entertainment or acting community, or you're somebody who's not, or like somebody like me who's adjacent to it, like I feel like I'm in entertainment, but I'm not an actor. I'm like learning about your life, and it's different, it's unique, and it keeps me engaged. And you're so like such a fun storyteller, so that's great too.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
think it's because I'm a middle child. I'm like, that's definitely why. We would definitely yap a lot when we were younger, and I'm a middle child, so that's totally why I do that.
I love that. Also, I don't know, I have a very strong memory of when you and I met. I don't know if you have a memory of this, but I have a very strong memory, and I would love to share these on the pod. It was at Notre Dame. You went to St. Mary's, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But you were in like the Pemco production of Grease.
Yeah, I did a lot of like Pemco shows. I mainly performed at Notre Dame. Like I did some stuff at St. Mary's, but like that's where the crux of my performing arts stuff started. Yeah.
Amazing, because that is where our little foundation, I think, started, was on that production. You and Jay Harans
Oh yeah.
were singing Hamilton in the backstage area, and like I had never heard of Hamilton at this point because I was like the worst.
No way.
And so I was just like, what is going on? Like they're not and it was like, oh, wait. And then I like looked it up. I was like, wait, this is sick. You introduced me to Hamilton without even knowing.
That's crazy. Wait, what production was this?
This was Grease.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, that's where Jay and I met. Yeah. We met like at the auditions for Grease, and then we like would goof off a lot backstage and stuff. So that actually makes so much I do remember this now that you're saying it. I'm like, "Oh my god, you just unlocked a memory I forgot about." That's crazy. That's insane, girl. How did you remember that so well?
So I don't know. I have like a weird memory about very niche things, but I had him on the pod like a few weeks ago or whatever, and I told him the same story. So
Oh my god. What did he say?
he was like, "Oh my god!" Like
I
what
didn't
a
remember that.
throwback. Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
I was a baby, and I was like, you were a baby, in fact.
We were all babies. We were all children. Literally,
tiny.
like I think back on it and I'm like, oh my god, like even in that production, like that was the first show I did and at school, like in college. And I think about how much I've grown since then. Like that's where I met a lot of those people. And so it's kind of cool to be like, whoa, like look how everybody's grown from, one side to another. Like everyone's, in whatever they chose to do. And some people like Jay, like me, decided to go into theater. And I know he writes a crap ton and everything like that. Like, so there's all this stuff that like everybody's doing that is so cool to watch. Be like, oh, we were just babies back then,
It's so special, actually, to think like the growth, because at that time, I was like, I didn't feel confident in myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's college. I mean, I don't know what your experience was. I'd love to hear about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, I think, okay, the first 2 years were like, first of all, I was very scared to like get in trouble. I was a straight A student in high school, and I always felt like I needed to uphold this like good girl mentality. And going into school, I knew I didn't even really want to go to St. Mary's. Let's talk about that. I didn't really want to go there because I didn't want to go to an all-girls school. I wanted to go someplace that maybe was farther away, but I didn't know what I wanted because my school didn't really, like my high school didn't teach me how to go into the performing arts. So like I didn't even know how to audition for places. Like I auditioned at places like DePaul and Butler, but like none of them really stuck out to me in a way. So like I was a little like on edge about it, but I think like the second I got the hang of it, I loved college. Like I loved it. I loved being in shows. I loved doing shows at Notre Dame. I got a chance to like choreograph a ton there. So like I choreographed a lot for the Notre Dame like students. I went when we did like Stupid Humans, which is one of Jay's shows. That's now My Heart Says Go. So that's one of them, as well as like all these other plays like The Importance of Being Earnest, like Addams Family, like Grease, having all those things and having those people, because I really do resonate really well with theater people and like actors and that sort of thing. That aspect was awesome. But then there are other things about like not just like who you want to be, but like there's such a specific like hookup culture in college or like a drinking culture in college that like depending on who you are, you don't know how do you fit into that. And you're like, what are other people saying I should do versus what I actually just want to do. You know what I mean? So like that was probably the most confusing thing, was like I very much was confident in who I was, or at least thought I was, but I always cared too much about what other people thought of me. Like always cared too much about like, are they thinking I'm doing this, or what are they going to think if I date this person or go out with him or whatever it is. Like that's what I was the most worried about. And it's so trivial and doesn't matter at all, but I never thought past college. Like I feel like when you're in high school you don't think past college. You're just like, oh yeah, college is the end of it. And so that's what I thought, was like college is the end. And then, you know, it obviously isn't. It's the stakes are so high and you feel very nervous about it. But I think that like overall I did love college. Now there was like ups and downs with it. And one, obviously I graduated during 2020, so I didn't graduate. And that was the worst part about college, for sure. That sucked. And I literally thought my industry was never coming back. And I was like, what am I to do? So that was probably the worst aspect about the whole thing, was like, it delayed me like 2 years getting into the world of theater and acting and that sort of thing. And so I do feel 2 years younger than I actually am. So I think that's honestly the worst part of college, was the end of it. But I totally get what you mean. It's like it's a weird dynamic.
It's a weird dynamic, and I am sorry that like you were one of those affected by COVID. Like
Yeah.
I got out right in 2019. I would not have done well in a COVID
And I'm like,
college.
what's interesting is like, oh no, my God, me neither. I didn't. Especially the acting classes. Like we would have an acting class online and it would be like, how am I supposed to have a scene with you on Zoom? You know what I mean? There's no chemistry. Like, what do you mean? So that was really, really hard. But and it's funny, I'm a little old for my grade, so I could have graduated with you if my parents had like put me in school at a different time, which is insane that could have happened.
The butterfly effect, one little thing
I
could
know,
affect
it's
so many
so
other
weird.
things. But you know what? It means that you were meant to do what you did when you did. And I know like you feel like it held you back in terms of like not getting to start right away in the industry and everything. But you also now have a thriving career online. So that's really cool. And that's not to say that wouldn't have happened regardless either.
Right,
Who's
but
to
like
say?
everything happens for a reason, and it adds up in a specific way that it's supposed to.
100%. And I love that you talked about like college and like being perceived, right? And how you're perceived by your peers and how you fit into that, and feeling confident and feeling like, yeah, I feel good about this decision. But is it my decision, or is it the decision of other people influencing that? I have never in my life felt that outside of Notre Dame. Those 4 years at Notre Dame, that was it. Because in high school, I felt very confident in who I was. And after I like found it again, but
Yeah, why was that like that
Weird.
for you? Now I'm interested.
I mean, this could get into a whole thing, right? But I do think that there was some level of like the disability thing for me.
For sure.
Notre Dame was not the most accessible campus,
No.
first of all. I mean, what campus is? Let's
Yeah,
also
let's
start
talk
there.
about that.
Right. That's step one. Step two was just like, I didn't really know how to be involved in kind of the scene that I wanted to be. I wanted to go out more. I wanted to kind of be in like the parties and all of that, but I couldn't like get off campus to them. I couldn't like do that without such a struggle. And so I ended up like leaning more into like the homebodies, and that's fine, but like they tended to be more on the religious side and more on the like following the rules side. And like, great, they're wonderful people. I'm friends with so many people to this day, but it's just like wasn't the college experience that I was expecting.
Yeah, totally. And I also I kind of in a similar way would like feel guilty sometimes if I went out and like partied. So sometimes I would withhold myself from doing that. And then I find that in my adult years I want to go out and do that now because I feel like I didn't at the time because I was too scared. And there was nothing wrong with it. I just like I have decision fatigue like nobody's business. Like I have the hardest, and you would not guess it from the way I seem online. I seem so confident, and I am really fucking confident. Like I have a really hard time making decisions when I think it's going to affect other people in a negative way. And that could be any decision in the world forever and ever, amen. So like if that's the way I think, that I'm gonna always be like, well, what does this person think? Well, what does that person think? And like that sort of thing, you know? So like I understand that from at least from this perspective.
Decision fatigue is such a real thing that I feel like nobody talks about, to be quite honest with
No.
you. Like
We
in
need more
any
people talking
capacity.
about it.
Why are we not like that should be like a mental health study. I would love somebody to talk
100%.
about it.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you handle it? Like I struggle with it too. So what are some like tips that you have for dealing with it, or do you not? And like, we're just all flying by the seat of our pants.
One of the things my mom always would tell me was project yourself into the future and look at the present as past. What do you wish you would have done? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it can be as simple as like, where are you going to eat, or as big as like, where do I want to move? Or like, what career am I going to take? Or like, whatever that may be. And so I think one of the things that helped me was like, okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is there are so few decisions in life that cannot be reversed. Like, so few. And I'm like, okay, what are the main ones? People are like, oh, where do I go to college? Who I get married to? But all those things can change. They don't have to stay that way, Like, you can change your mind, and that's okay. And of course, you don't want to go into it being like, I want to change where I go to school, obviously, but you have to just make the best decision with the information that's in front of you. And if that's all you did, that's the best you could have done. That's literally the best you could have done. So if I decide that I wanted to move to like London to pursue acting tomorrow, and I left at the end of the summer, and after a month or 2 months, I hated it, I can move back home. That wasn't a life-changing decision. Like, so few decisions in life are life-changing decisions, So I think taking it from like the stakes are here to like, they're really not. They're just not, There's so few of them that are. And then also practicing with like tiny little ones. Like, instead of overthinking where we're going to eat, I just make a decision. And then all of a sudden, the next bigger decision seems easier. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, first of all, I love the scaling back, because that is something that I mean, let's call it what it is. I got married and I've been divorced.
Right. And you said, I don't want to anymore.
I don't want this anymore. This is not it.
Right.
And that's
and
like,
you're alive
okay.
and you're well. Like,
I'm here. I survived.
Right.
I'm in another relationship. Things go on.
There you go.
People move. Like,
Yeah.
That's just how it works. And I love that you did that, because that is such a positive way to look at it, is just like bringing it back to the present. And I think I love that. Sorry, I've never heard it like talked about, like scaling it back like that. And I like that.
I think I've talked to many people about that, to like get that in my brain and to be like, the stakes are so low. They're so low. They're not life and death. There's like a couple decisions in life that are life and death. And you probably won't come to those decisions at any point in your life. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully. But like, if you scale it back, it just becomes the stakes are so much lower, like nothing is really the end of the world. At the end of the day, we're very privileged people to be living where we're living at the time that we're living in. And yeah, there's problems in the world, 100%. But when I think about like where I am in comparison to some other people, I'm like, oh, I live a pretty good life. So this decision about XYZ doesn't need to be here, because some people do deal with here all the time and I don't have to. So I should take that as like a good for me,
100%. And also, like, obviously there's different scales of like what would be more impactful to different people depending on like who they are, what their experience is, all of that. But I do think that generally that's a good rule. Like, nothing is really going to be irreversible. Most things, you can change your mind. You can change your mind every day for the rest of your life if you want to.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. That sounds insane, but like,
insane,
you can.
If you wanted to, you could.
You could. Wish you the best.
Right.
Not gonna be. That's great. I love that so much. I am curious, some of your big decisions. How did you settle on living in Chicago after school?
What's funny is people don't know I live in Chicago. Everyone thinks I live in New York, which they should. They should think I live that, because I do. Not a lie. I am just constantly in New York, Chicago, and LA. So I just sort of tell everyone that that's where I live, because it is. I have housing in all three places. So if I need to be in New York for something, I go there. If I need to be in LA for something, I go there. My apartment is in Chicago, right? So I think the way I made that decision was, again, I was making a huge deal out of it. All I did was write down how much money it was going to cost me to live in New York for 6 months. And that made the decision for me. I was like, oh, I don't have that money right now. Okay, great, cool. I'd love to go to New York, but like, another big thing that I took into consideration is a lot of people who just get out of college move to New York with no credits on their resume. Now that's a bad idea, but if you are not a Nepo baby and you don't have money from mom and dad, you're going to have a really, really, really hard time. Like, you just are. I'm not like, that's just the facts. Everyone I know that moved right out of college has a really hard time in New York. Same with LA, because they're expensive cities to live in. And it's an industry where you're hearing no all the time. Everyone's judging you for the way you look, the way you sound, the way you, like, everything, the way your body is. And you're competing with people who have been in the industry longer and who are nepo babies and who already have a leg up and who are already networked. So in my opinion, I was like, great, I would rather start somewhere where I can easily get in the door, get some stuff on my resume, and still audition in those places. And I do. My agents submit me for Broadway shows, they submit me for tours. I go in for those certain things, and I will continue to do that. And at some point, I probably will move to New York. Like, I will full time, like, stay there, stay there. Or I'll just have a house there too. I don't know. Maybe I'll get rich enough.
Heck yes.
It came down to like the money and like logistically, like, how do you think this is going to work out? You know, in a smart way, do you think you can handle this? And do you think this is feasible? I do think there is something to be said for going for something, like going for it and just doing it. But I didn't want to be a starving artist in a city where like I knew I could book outside of and get great credits on my resume to show to these people in New York. So that's kind of why I made that decision. And that was a really tough one. Like, that was a really big, tough one. And then I kind of was like, oh my God, wait, I love Chicago. I fell in love with Chicago. It's just such a beautiful city. Really nice people. And to be honest, the theater people in Chicago in general are really really nice. It's less competitive. It's you get in the room quicker. They're Midwest people, so they're like kinder, you know what I mean? Like, so there's all of that also has to do with it.
I love that. I think Chicago is an underrated city, and I hope it stays that way because it stays cheaper that way. Chicago's the worst. Everybody, nobody ever visit. We hate it. It sucks. Everything's bad. All the crime, all the There's no crime. There's nothing. It's amazing. The lake is beautiful. It's summer. Oh God, summertime yes. Shy is like literally the best thing in the world. I can't even lie about it. It's just so great.
I'm just like, it's beautiful here. I can't lie.
Well, you're from like the area, like you mentioned. I'm from
Indiana.
Yeah.
So about 2 hours away in South Bend. So I grew up in South Bend, and so it is easy for me to get home and whatnot. But like I said, I'm going to New York for work, and then I'll go to LA, and then I fly out to New York often for different auditions and stuff. And you know, even I've done like 54 Below shows like there, like concerts there. I'm planning on doing more. TBD on that. Oh, first time I'm dropping this actually. Maybe doing possible show in New York and maybe here as well. So that's in the works right now. Like singing and like soloing there, and maybe my sisters will be involved. But that's all I'll say about that. But like I do go places for performing, for content creation, for events. But yeah, Chicago's good. Chicago's too good.
Well, okay, a couple things are coming to mind. I think COVID did a lot of bad. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was like a good time for anybody. I do think that the remote possibilities opened up the opportunity for people to live outside of New York and LA if they want to be in entertainment.
100%. Even my brother, he worked at WME for a while, which is a big talent agency, so he like is friends with, knows a lot of people in that space, you know, and now he's a music producer. But like one of the things he told me is like, Hollywood's not the same, Rachel. Like you can really audition anywhere, and they're not even filming movies in LA anymore. They're filming it abroad. They're filming it like there's just so many places that they're filming these things now. Like the studios are there and everything, but like it's just become a smaller world in a good way. And I have like the amount of self-tapes I do way more self-tapes than anything in person because it's become accessible in that way, you know? So now we have this world that felt kind of like here, and now it's kind of opened up with these like these self-tape options that you could do. And then you fly to New York if you need to, or you fly to LA if you need to, if you get a call back. But that is one good thing that came out of the pandemic, is like it allowed us to do more things like that, which I think is, I love that.
I agree 100%. And I think when it comes to like auditions and whatnot too, like, well, first of all, I just think it's funny. Your Zoom online acting classes did teach you something. Yes.
No.
In hindsight, wait, sorry, that just like circled back in my brain. I'm like,
right.
Whoa, that's actually funny. They sure did. But like companies or organizations or production companies, like whatever it may be, will fly you where you need to go.
Huh.
If you book the job. Like right. It's honestly, it's so normal now that you don't have to be in one of the major hubs. You can live completely off the grid if you really want to.
Yeah, totally. You really could. And like, I know some people that do, like even big people, like, I don't know if it's Tom Holland or somebody else, but like, I know he's like, I just want to be in like the UK and chill now that I've played Spider-Man. And you're like, okay, like he's fine if he like he talks about it all the time. And I'm like, that's so interesting, you know. And I know other people that like there are a couple Irish actors. I don't know who they are, but they live in Ireland and they just sort of fly where they need to go. And I'm like, that is my dream, by the way. Like, I just want to be flown out for different movies. Like, that's all I want.
Honestly, that is the dream, isn't it? To like have like a home base in a place that's affordable and that you actually like, and not just
Yes.
like, because here's the thing. LA's a fun place to visit. It's a really fun place to visit. I thought about living there when I first like moved back to the States. And similarly to you, I wrote down the cost. I was like, well, shit. Can't do it. I have to buy a car and get an apartment by myself.
Right.
One of them has to go.
Right. So I'm living in my car. Like, yeah, it's not a very walkable city. I mean, everything is so spread apart. Like, half my family is out there right now. I have all three brothers, all their wives, their kids, my sister Grace, who's also actually, now I'm thinking about it, you guys should connect. She's a singer-songwriter. And then my sister Carolyn. And I'm like, every time I'm out there, okay, look, now if I got a job there, I love LA. It's my favorite place to be. But when I'm there, I'm like, there's so many people and the highways are cramped and I'm getting a headache on the highway and it took an hour to get here. Like, that's just LA though for you, you know? Like, it's just what are you willing to give up, you know? Like, are you willing to suffer in this financial way or not? You know, it just depends on what you want, truly.
Truly. It truly just depends on what you want. And the blessing that we all now have is that you can kind of choose that based on what you actually want, not what like has to be done. Like, oh no, twist my arm. Like, I have to do this thing. Like,
Exactly.
every once in a while, maybe you might have to do that for like a short period of time or maybe even an extended period of time. But it's not like, to your point, nothing is irreversible.
Everything you can reverse, every decision you can change. I know people that moved to LA, that moved back, that moved to New York, that moved back, that moved back to New York and then back. Like, it's your life at the end of the day. Nobody else is, and nobody can tell you what to do, and no one should tell you what to do. And if they are, like, drop them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm such a, it's my life. I think the biggest, this is like my soapbox to stand on. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people ask me on social media or in person, I'm like, please don't give up what people think of you, and please don't care what people think of your choices unless you're doing something morally wrong or like that's against values and like, you know, a human beings. That's so different. But if you're just like, no, I want to like up and move to London, great, go, like, do it, you know, like, or I would like to completely change career paths, good, you should. Like, you live one life, it's for you, not anybody else. So anytime I'm overthinking about like, oh, what is this person gonna think, I'm like, hold on, it's not their life, it's my life. I'm not being malicious. As long as you're not being malicious, then I got nothing to say, right?
Honestly, like, not to bring it about like my music for a second, but that's like literally what Resurrection's all
Period.
about.
That's exactly what it's about. No, you're so right. That's literally exactly what your music's about.
It is, because
Oh wow,
it, like,
that I like just did like a little like video essay on what you're trying to write.
that's incredible.
Welcome
That's not
to
what
the
every
music.
song's gonna be, but that is what the first one was about, to be fair. And that's so funny because like it was based in, people were trying to tell me, they're like, I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know what you're doing. I don't like what you're doing. Like, you're changing. God forbid we grow.
Not when a woman changes.
What's that TikTok? Like, if they find out we can shapeshift, they're gonna tell the church.
The church.
Immediately what I thought.
Never
Yes.
a woman shapeshifts.
Sometimes you have to. Sometimes
Like,
it's
you
how
thought I
you
was gonna
survive.
be the exact same person my whole life. That's boring. I know people like that. They don't seem happy. I don't want to be like them, you know?
No, and if they are happy, like, fine, whatever, do your thing. But like,
Not me.
not me. That's not
Not
gonna be me.
me.
That seems horrible. That seems
Right.
so just draining. I would be
That's why
drained.
I always say, like, there are times I look back at my content, I'm like, ooh, that was a little cringy. But that's good. Like, I think everyone should have a healthy sense of cringe of themselves. You need to have a healthy sense of cringe of your younger self because that's how you know you're growing. If you didn't think you were cringy, you didn't leave there. You're still there. Every time you take a step forward, you have to be okay with being cringy just like a little bit. And then being able to be like, oh, cool. I'm going to take this part of my past self. I'm going to leave that other thing because that's how you move forward and that's how you grow. And if you don't ever do that, like you're living in limbo your whole life. And like that's not interesting to me.
No. Oh my God. I love that. I love that so much. It's like, and it's not even just like relatable to videos online, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, all right, if you're at like an office all day and you have like a really awkward interaction with your coworker or whatever, that's
Yeah.
still a step. You have to put yourself out there. Speak up in the
Right.
meeting, speak up in your classes. God, I was so afraid to talk in class. I was like, wow, I have nothing to say. I held my own self back by doing that. Speak up, say your piece.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And even like even when I think about stuff like this, like I'm starting to get into writing music and doing that kind of thing. So like that's so actually separate from this podcast, I'd love to talk to you about that and how you started in that because like I'm starting to do that as well. But that's the kind of stuff I want to talk about is like that kind of stuff of like being yourself, especially as women. I've been told a lot that I'm very loud, that I'm too much. And whenever I hear that, I'm just like, the song that plays in my head, actually, I'm not even a Swiftie, okay? I wouldn't even consider myself a Swiftie. I like Taylor Swift, but I'm not a Swiftie. The Look What You Made Me Do plays in my head, because I'll be like, fine, you thought that was annoying? Like, guess what? You know? I'm very much like, okay, you know what? I'm not living my life for you. I'm not going to get quieter because you didn't like it. Everybody there's an infinite amount of space that people can take up. I don't take up all the space in a room. If I walk into a room and I take up a lot of space, you can also take up that much space. You're just choosing not to. If you choose not to, that's not my fault. And that's something that has been put on me a lot. Like you take up a lot of space. I'm like, and you can as well. And you should actually, especially as a woman, take up space, you know? Like take up the space in the room, claim the room, own the room. Somebody made you believe you shouldn't. Well, let me tell you that you can, you know?
So fun little throwback for a second for me. You saying that is like giving me chills because when I was like at my lowest in college, right, I went to therapy and that was like the lesson that like has stuck with me and has driven my entire growth forward was that my therapist was like, you're allowed to take up space. That sentence, it's like here now. And so you saying that, I'm like, whoa, yes, you can. And take up more. Take up
Yes,
all of it.
yes, absolutely. And I think you're doing that with the music release and everything like that. Like it's a total reclaiming of yourself. That is so cool. And I'm like, I love to see when women succeed. I love to
I
see
do
it.
too. And you're like, are you kidding? Like you, when you introduce yourself, you're like, I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm an intimacy coordinator. You're like, hell yeah, own it.
Yeah,
Fucking own it.
absolutely, absolutely. And we always will. We always should.
We always will. We always should. I do want to, as we're kind of wrapping up a little bit our conversation today, which I can't believe, by the way, this has already been 40
I
minutes.
know. I'm like, I feel like we've been talking for 5 minutes.
I know. I do want to just talk a little bit. The theme of the podcast is rejection, right? And one reason I wanted to talk to you, being an actor, a dancer, like in that space, is rejection is everywhere. It's just like part of it. And even like you talking about like people putting on you like, oh, you're too much. That is a rejection. It's not like getting an actual like piece of paper saying like you don't get this job, but it's like a form of rejection. It's somebody telling you that you're not for them in a meaner way.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. So it's making it your problem when it's theirs. Anyway, point being, I'd love to hear how you handle rejection in your day-to-day life because I'm like, as much as I'm sure you're booking and doing amazing, like I know being in the industry myself, it's part of it.
Yeah, it's totally part of it. And I think that is twofold. The one that hurts more is the one from personal, like people. If we take it back to college, there are some people I've met in college that like I didn't realize weren't actually rooting for me or weren't actually close to me. And like that's a form of rejection of being like, wait, I would have gone to the ends of the world for you and you wouldn't do that for me. That's number one. And that continues to happen in the industry. Sometimes you meet people that are not for you. They just want to get to know your secrets and then use them. And I don't like that's another form of rejection as well. And even like hearing no at the beginning, like just from a you're not getting this job standpoint, was so much worse 2 years ago than it is now. I expect no now. And it's not even, by the way, it's not even no, it's just they don't respond. So like if I audition for something and I give it to my agents and I never hear back, I didn't get it. And usually you hear back, depending on the theater or the show or whatever it is, pretty quickly. So I don't get a no. I don't know what I did wrong or right. I have no idea. So like it's just a constant like throwing spaghetti at the wall and being like, cool, let's see what sticks. So I think the way I've learned to deal with that is by not getting offended, number one, that I didn't book it, because it isn't really about my talent sometimes. And then number two, being like, this is the industry. Everybody else is hearing no 90% of the time. There's something about that makes you feel like unified with other actors, to be like, oh, you're hearing no 90% of the time too. Like that's comforting. But then also being like, you have no idea why they didn't pick you. I could be up for a role and it could have been that I'm next to another girl and then we have the exact same vocal type and we can both dance the same way or whatever. And they're just like, she's a little shorter and we would like the girl to be shorter than the guy because I'm tall. That could be literally it. So I have to take out the part that's like, what if it's not about my talent? What if it's just about the way, like, what if it's about things that I can't control? That, like, telling myself that is super, super helpful. And then also rejection just makes me stronger. Like, I feel like every time I hear a no or I don't hear back, I'm like, great, time to get my nose back to the grindstone. And I don't care if I don't, like, it does get to me sometimes, but I don't care how many times I'm going to hear no, because my brother would always say that this industry game is not who's better or worse. It's who can stick it out the longest. It's like who can wait the longest and push the hardest and actually stay in the industry, because so many people give up because they hear no. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those people that gives up because I hear no. It's just going to make me stronger. And look what you made me do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe I hear. That's what the song that plays in my head whenever someone pisses me off or I hear a no. I'm like, fine, guess what? I'm going to do a show here now. I'm going to open this thing. Like, whatever it is I'm going to do, I'm going to, like, come back stronger, you know?
It's so funny you brought it back to that, because that was like what my brain was thinking, like, oh, she's back in her Swiftie era for a second.
I went back to my Swiftie era. Yeah, I've been coming back into it. I've been going back into my Swiftie era. I can see it.
I like it. I could see you as a rep girly too. Rep is very...
Oh, yes, definitely. Absolutely. Like, I was much more of a Taylor Swift girly when I was younger, and then I got older and I don't know what happened. I started focusing more on theater, so I guess I was a theater girly. But like the first concert I went to was Speak Now. So that was like...
No way!
Yeah, it was so fun. My brother got me tickets. Me and my sisters all went, and it was so fun. It was my first concert ever, and it was Taylor Swift. Like, that's so fun.
That is so fun. And I'm thinking of another song from that era, specifically Better Than Revenge.
Yes!
Does that fit the vibe? I think that's the vibe.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe.
No, I think that's really good advice. Is just like, okay, I'm going to just keep doing me. I love that your brother is just like, it's who sticks it out the longest. I do think there's truth to that. I really do think there's truth to that, because as we were kind of talking about at the beginning, so many people want to see results immediately. They want to see the numbers. They want to see the money. They want to see the fame, the whatever. That's not reality.
And I have a hard time with that too, honestly. Like, I also want things quickly. I'm very impatient. But at the end of the day, it's partially you have to be good. Like, you have to be talented. You have to be working at your craft. You have to be wanting it, right? But the other part of it is, like, are you willing to stick it out long enough? You know, because most of the people in Hollywood that are getting the roles, they're Nepo babies. They're the children of other actors. And it's always going to be like that. So what do you have? What do you add to the conversation that they don't? Or what can you do to go around the back door and get in? Because you can't get in the way they are.
No, you have to sell them on you. You have to make yourself stand out, whatever that is, and leaning into your uniqueness is the key in anything that you do. Again, like, this doesn't just apply to acting. It doesn't just apply to content creation. And I think you would agree it applies to 100%. Every aspect of life. I mean, like, you think about relationships. Like, you're not going to get a partner, at least not a good partner, speaking from experience, by being somebody that you're not, being somebody that your friends are.
You have to be authentic and true to yourself. And it's all those cheesy things that people would tell you when you're younger, and you're like, well, I don't get it. And you're like, you don't get it because it's actually hard when you have to do it. Like, it's actually hard to like, I remember the first time I posted a video that was like, here are things that I want to bite into and or eat, but I can't, because if I did, it would probably end my life. That was a video I did, and I was like, I'm scared to post this. Because it was so goofy and weird that I was like, are people going to think I'm weird? I want them to think I'm weird. I want them, like, everyone has weird shit like that in their brains that they're not saying out loud. What if there's an entire community of people that feel that way, And this video did so well. It did well on Instagram, it did well on TikTok, and it was just things like Crocs. Like I really want to bite into Crocs for some reason. Like the Play-Doh, I want to eat Play-Doh. I don't know why. I just want to eat Play-Doh. Like there's just that was the video, and I'm like, okay, you never know. So being authentic is always better than not.
100%. And like, again, you'll find your people, you'll find your community, and honestly, that is more empowering and more powerful in the grand scheme of life, I think, than anything super widespread anyway. Find your people, find your community.
I totally agree.
And find yourself along the way.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. I hope so. Actually, I hope you find yourself and then you find your people.
Right, exactly.
Yes. That's the order. But Rachel, I have 4 hard-hitting questions for you.
Let's do it, 4 of them.
Let's do it. 4 of them. It's big. It's big. One of them I feel like you kind of already answered, but maybe you have a different answer. So we'll start there. What is a song that when you're feeling upset or rejected or hurt, whatever, that maybe won't fix the problem, but it'll make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah, 100% it's Look What You Made Me Do. 100%. 100% it's Look What You Made Me Do if I'm feeling like in a mad, angry mood. That, or if I'm like, oh my God, what is the song that is, I don't remember who sings it, but it's called Figure Me Out. It's more of a gentle song that, think it's time for me to figure me out. That one, I don't remember exactly what it is, who plays it, sings it, but that's more of my like heart of it. But when I'm mad, that or vigilante shit. Like vigilante shit, I'm also like, okay. And I will do that usually when I'm like exercising. Like if I'm mad, I play Look What You Made Me Do, I play vigilante shit, I play Better Than Revenge. That's my like, fine, you want this? I'll give it to you,
So what I'm hearing is you are a Swiftie. Just
Yeah,
a little bit. Maybe you are.
I listen to her more when I'm pissed, I guess.
I
If I'm
mean,
not pissed, it's, like,
relatable.
Hosier, like I'm like when I'm in a really flowery, girly mood, I'm like Hosier,
Okay, fair enough. Those are 2 different vibes. Well, I don't know. I feel like she has some flowery songs too, but
Totally. It just depends on what era she's in,
it does. And like, same according to our moods.
Well, yes.
It seems like. No, I love all those answers. I think vigilante shit is like, of the 3 you listed, that's the one when I'm pissed, I'm playing that song like on repeat.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Question number 2.
So,
Similar in a way, but what is something that is in your rejection rescue kit? So whether it's an item or an activity, doesn't really matter. Just something you do to like get out of a funk.
it's usually being with other people. I'm such an extrovert at my core, and nothing gets me out of my own head like a person that I care about. And more so than that, somebody who is, I can like hear how their day went. I take it off of me being about me, like if I'm like, I didn't get this role or I didn't get this thing or somebody whatever rejection it is. If I go talk to somebody else and I hear about their life, I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. The universe doesn't revolve around me. This one little thing isn't going to kill me. And it's not the end of the world. There are other people that exist that are dealing with other problems, and everyone's dealing with rejection all the time. So hearing other people and like and getting out of my own head and actually trying to help somebody else really, really helps me.
I think that's so powerful. Again, community is actually so healing. Whether you're venting or I like what you said too, realize like it almost puts it in, it scales it back. It almost puts it in perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like this is not actually.
No, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it sucks, but at the end of
sure.
the day, like in the grand scheme of things, it's a blip in your life. It's a blink. It's a second. It's like, this is your life. It's not even that. Like, it's smaller than that. So you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine. Things will get better. They always do if you just like push forward.
Exactly.
Say la vie.
Exactly.
Question number 3. What was the last thing that you did scared?
I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do one on the acting end and then one on the performing end and then one on the not that. I posted a video of a song that I wrote like 2 days ago that I was so scared to post. It was just me and a ukulele, and it was based on the lyrics, based on the book Song of Achilles. And I love Madeline Miller. I love her writing. I think it's beautiful. And I love that she writes, the way she writes women is so important, especially in Greek mythology where women are seen as like bad and that they're the problem. She doesn't like write it like that, and there's just such beauty in it. So I wrote this song. I didn't know if it was any good, but I was like, I'm trying to put myself out there more. And so I'm going to write this song. I'm not going to do it to complete it. I'm just going to do what I feel. And I'm going to put it on the internet, and that I'm going to leave it at that, because that's taking a step forward that really scares me. And I was thinking about it all day. I was worried about it all day. I delayed it a day because I was so nervous about doing it. And then when I posted, I was like, it doesn't matter how this performs. It doesn't matter if it performs well. I made a piece of art that I resonate with, that I think the world also resonates with. So I'm going to put that into the space and see what comes of it. And I'm going to continue to do that. And, doing that one little thing made me less scared to post the next song I'm going to post. So like having, like I said, baby steps, like, okay, this one I can do. Okay, I can do another one, So like that on the performing arts end was that. And then the other one was, I got in the lake yesterday, and when you can jump off the concrete beach, that sort of thing. And I was wading water, and wading water can scare me sometimes. I can swim. I can. But I don't like that there could be something in the water. It's not really about the fact that I can swim. It's like there's something in the water. And I was wading water, and I was going to get out. And then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to like wade water for longer, because this is going to be good for my soul. This is going to be good for exercise. And I just want to prove to myself that I can do it. And so I pushed off the bank again, and I did it for another minute just so I could prove to myself that I could do it. And I was like, I'm scared. Nothing's going to happen. And I said it out loud. I was alone. I was like, you're safe. Nothing's happening to you. The bar's right there. You can grab it, but you're stronger than that. And so I just waded water for like another minute. And then I got out, and I was like, hell yeah,
Wading water is a lot of effort.
It's
so
scary.
It's also scary. Like, good for you for pushing yourself to do that extra minute. That's intense.
Yes, it was. But I was like, I want to prove to myself that I can do it without freaking out, because I did it because I was going in because I was scared. Not because I was like, I'm tired, I'm good. I was scared to stay out longer. And I was like, nope, you got to do things that scare you. That's the only way you're going to push yourself.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I love the performing one too. I have not seen that video. I'm super excited to go watch it.
Go check
I will
it out,
say
girl.
that. I will go check it out. But while we're talking about your singing for a second, I do just want to say, when you did, I don't remember the song right now, but you did one like a while back that you like had such a beautiful alto voice going. It was so deep.
My cousin Luella?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes.
I know you're a good singer, but damn, girl.
I didn't know. I mean, I've always had a deep alto voice that I can access. Like, I can belt and everything like that. But there was this, like, other side of me that I'm like, you know what? I think I need to try this song. And I listened to it afterwards, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know that sound was in me, So that's another thing I'd like to do more of, is more songs like that, more of that jazzy sounding thing in concert and that sort of thing. So that's another thing that I'm like, I was scared to post that, but I did. And because I did, I could post this other thing, and like, it's baby steps. It's baby steps.
It's baby steps, and you're killing it by taking them, because I think starting is always the hardest thing to do.
So hard to start. Oh my God.
It's so hard to start, because even going back to the water thing for a second, once you're already in there, sometimes it's easier to stay out. It's a push. I'm not saying it wasn't a push, but you're already there.
You're like, I'm already in here. Why don't I just hang on a little longer?
So you gotta put yourself in the water first, friend. That gets us to our final question, actually. Based on our conversation, or something completely out of left field, what is a piece of advice you'd like to leave the listeners with today?
Oh my God. If I could go on for another hour, I think the main one is, let's do a list. Number one, it's your life. Nobody else's. It's your life. You shouldn't listen to somebody who you wouldn't take advice from. You shouldn't care about the opinion of somebody you wouldn't take advice from. That goes for people on the internet, like strangers on the internet, but that also goes for people in your life that you might need to cut out. If you wouldn't take advice from them, their opinion doesn't matter then. What they think of you doesn't matter. Number two, be unapologetically you. The cringy side of yourself that you don't like, the sides of yourself you hate, somebody and people will love that. But you just have to put it out into the world. And then I think the last one would be it kind of encompasses these two. And it's just that take the risk, jump, totally jump, wade in the water, jump in the water. Life is no fun if you don't do that kind of stuff. Move to New York, write a song. If you're in the, music entertainment industry, go for it, post your monologues online. Do the stuff that you really, really love to do, because at the end of your life, you're going to be regretting the things that you didn't do. You're going to be sitting on your deathbed being like, why didn't I move to New York? Why didn't I travel Europe? You're not going to be like, I really wish I didn't travel Europe. Like, that's not ever going to be a thing, you know? So I think like being bold, and this is my word for the year this year was be bold. And so if bold is my word, that means that I'm taking big steps. I'm being unapologetic. I'm not dumbing myself down. I'm not becoming quieter just because other people can't be loud. So that is what I would say is my biggest thing, is like, just be bold and be unapologetically you, because everybody else is taken.
Hell yes. I love be bold. I think that's such like a key phrase to end on that encompasses so much of what we talked about, like with being too much and standing in your power and like owning who you are and not listening to the noise. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing so much, being vulnerable, and like giving such great advice today, Rachel. This has been such a great conversation.
So much fun. It's fun talking.
I'm so glad that you had a good time. Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Oh my God. Yeah, of course. You can find me on all social media platforms at rachel.ann.thomas. You can also check out my website. I have my performing arts stuff there. If that's just rachelannthomas.com. Stay tuned for like music coming out and like solo shows. We might be doing a Ren Fair meetup at some point. So that could be really, really fun. And a lot of like fun content coming down the line. So that's where you can find me.
You definitely need to check Rachel out, y'all. She is so fun, so beautiful, so incredible. She's a hoot and a half. You're gonna want to miss out. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, everybody, and I will see you next time. And that concludes another episode of Access Denied. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like this week's episode, be sure to hit that subscription button and notification bell here on YouTube, or go check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss another episode. We have so much exciting content coming out for season 2. You're not going to want to miss it. I'd like to give a huge shout out to JP Warner Sound for dropping this sick beat that you're listening to right now. And finally, if you'd like to rep your love of Access Denied, you now can with our very exciting merch line, featuring a very special Access Denied mug so that you can sip your morning tea while you listen to me spill the accessibility. Anyways, friends, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!